So, what's the cricket been like? What's your prediction?
The World Cup has been, I think, a non-compete World Cup so far. There's been a lot of games where sides have won by margins, enormous margins. I mean, can you imagine someone like my personality where I can walk in any street in India, anywhere, and I really mean literally anywhere, and someone will say, "Hey, Dos," not just my name, like my nickname.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
He's hit that like an absolute rocket.
You've got to restart the car, I think.
Yeah, no, I'll have to restart. Can you please tell them that?
I've told them.
I've told them time and time again, why can't you have a nice talk?
It's very invasive.
Like a TikTok. Hello and welcome to another episode of History on Wheels. I'm enjoying making these episodes. We hope you're enjoying watching them too. Do hit subscribe on our channel if you do, and of course give this video a like, because that's how we know that you're enjoying watching these. If there's something in particular you'd like to see, do drop us a comment. Well, this episode is particularly special for me because I own an earlier generation of the car in question today. It was robust, it was rugged, it was iconic when it was launched. And I'm talking about none other than the Mahindra Scorpio. Well, the Scorpio has a rich history and it's celebrating its 21st anniversary this year. It's been around for a long while in the Indian market, but when it was launched way back in 2002, the stakes were big. Mahindra had invested a whopping 600 crores into its development. And even Anand Mahindra admits that a lot rested on its shoulders. It was the make or break. It was the transition for Mahindra and Mahindra from a basic utility vehicle manufacturer to becoming a manufacturer of more sophisticated SUVs. And when it was launched, it was iconic, it was robust, it was rugged, it had great off-roading capabilities, it was spacious. But not only that, it was also launched at great value to the Indian customer at 5.99 lakhs. Yes, that's the price it was launched at. It competed with other bigger SUVs out there like the Tata Safari, and it marked a name for itself. Scorpio went on to become a success, and like I said, it's been around 20 years, seeing many changes. When it was launched with a 2.6-litre diesel engine. Years after that, in 2005, came the CRDE, which was power-packed, punchy and fun to drive. So with that robust, rugged vehicle, you now also had performance. And that is the Scorpio that I owned and loved driving. It wasn't perfect, but it was still iconic. Later on, we saw the M-Hawk engines come in, and now we see the M-Eagle engines. You have automatic, you have manual, you have diesel, you have petrol, so you have all kinds of variants in the Scorpio as of today. Now, this Indian-owned homegrown car has spread its wings across the globe. You can see it in South Africa, South America, Australia, and many more countries. Which is why we have someone from Australia who owns not one, but two of these cars, the pickup and the Scorpio N, to talk about what he loves about this car. He's an iconic cricketer. He's a batsman par excellence, known for his big hits and power play. This is none other than Matthew Hayden. Matthew Hayden, so happy to have you on History on Wheels. We're really excited to have you there.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Massive fans for you all over the world, and it's an exciting moment for us to have you here. First question I have to ask you.
Yes.
Cricket and cars, do they have something in common for you?
Of course. I mean, for a start, everyone that drives a car is a someone.
Yeah.
And just like cricketers, you know, I guess you sort of forget the fact that cricketers are also a dad, a son, you know, a brother. You know, so the reality is people matter when it comes to driving as well. Yeah. And I suppose, you know, when you look at these vehicles, when you step inside them, especially on their new global platforms, you realise that the biggest stakeholder, the most important stakeholder, is the driver. And that's what you feel in these vehicles.
What was it about the Scorpio that kind of first got your attention?
Well, when I travelled here, as you know, I've travelled here for so many years now, and in particular when you sort of get up into the tea plantations, rubber plantations, say for example in God's country in Kerala, or up into northeast, Assam and those regions, or over in Dharamshala, they are kind of like the king of the mountain.
Yeah.
It's an unofficial title.
Yeah.
So from my head, I just went, if they can handle those conditions, they can come down under and thrive, and that's exactly what they've done.
You've seen a lot of global cars, obviously everything else that's there. What was your first impression?
Well, I think that these lines here in particular just suggest to me that they've got great strength. Anytime you sort of fold metal, that's where they get that capacity to really withstand the rigours.
Yeah.
But again, it's got a nice line. I think oftentimes I've been critical of Mahindra's lines in their vehicles previously, but this just looks really nice. It's a I would say a very much a mid to large SUV.
Yeah.
It's lovely alloys, got nice footprint, big wide wheels. The stepping plates look good. Of course, this is something that's really important for me because I surf and my family surf. All my kids surf as well.
Okay.
So this has got canoes, surfboards. So it's the capability. I mean, I'm not willing or wanting to drive 1,000 miles an hour in vehicles. What I want is to know that I can get somewhere safely with my family and I can actually explore the ends of the earth, and this vehicle can take it to me.
You spoke about the lines that's important on a bat, how it's shaped.
It is.
And it's important in a car because aerodynamics plays such an important part in how a car functions. And I think that's what these global platforms, rightly as you said, they've kind of changed the game. They've lifted it in terms of tech, in terms of the way the car is designed, in terms of the way that it is handled. You said you surf a lot. So do you take this car and go on, which is the one that you use more, pickup or the Scorpio N?
The pickup I've used, but bear in mind this vehicle's actually only just come out to Australia, and I've been here in India for almost 7 months of this year. So you've got a great function in the vehicle actually, which this is a 4x4 function, which you can just switch as to what your terrain looks like. Now, sand and obviously snow. Now I live in the tropics, there's no chance of me being on snow, but sand is a big part of the conversation for a four-wheel drive owner, along with its towing capacity as well. So, this is in that sort of zone where you can tow a mid to small boat. Australia has the largest, amount of recreational boating capabilities as well. So you have to have kind of like the jack of all trades, and this vehicle gives that to you.
So what's the craziest drive you've done in one of the, well, obviously the pickup, because you said you've driven that, and what's the craziest drive you've done?
The pickup, I've got to say, I've tried to break the pickup. I probably shouldn't say that.
That's not what you should be doing to your car.
No, but it's
you can break the bowling, not the pickup.
Well, just like the bowlers, I used to try and break them as well. But it's more, for me, it's how I could get in and out of dangerous situations. One of the most hectic was on a four-wheel drive trek on the largest sand island in the world called Fraser Island. And you've not got flat sand tracks now. It is uphill, and it is well carved, and it's quite dangerous. This little pickup truck with its Eaton diff lock, whenever I got any kind of wheel spin, it just kicked in, and it was honestly like one of my old man's tractors, the way that it used to manoeuvre around our hilly property. Bang, up it went, no problems. I think you've got to really want to own, a class of vehicle like the SUV classes, and it means kind of, as the tagline, that exploring the possibility. For me, how that represents is that I want to go to a unique part of Australia. I want to have all my camp equipment on it. I want to throw my dogs in the back, family safe and secure, and load the vehicle up to a point where you think, well, surely it's not going to take it. But no matter what you throw inside these vehicles, they just manage it. And a lot of it actually has got to do with the drivetrain in it. In the pickup, 2.2 turbo diesel, got plenty of torque. It's not the biggest in the class. Your Toyota Land Cruisers blow the actual kilowatts out of the water, but you don't need them because they're actually quite a light vehicle. So the footprint carries the right type of engine quality, and the torque in the vehicle makes them just work.
Am I hanging on too tight?
Okay, we get going. Now you contend with Mumbai traffic. The mental toughness you need to be a cricketer, because you have ups, you have downs, you have lows, you have an entire country that hates you because you've lost a match. I mean, it's a hard burden to live with.
It's melodramatic.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. You can be a hero and a villain all in the one day, and oftentimes on multiple occasions.
Exactly. You know what I love about this car is this AC.
Yeah, all ACs
you down, and you don't even need to have it on full fan blower.
There's some technical thing for it, but it just blasts you basically.
See, this is what I love about the Scorpio. You can just get anywhere until you have a scooter driver who decides he needs to stop in the middle of the road.
It's got a damn good horn too.
Yeah.
It's got a horn appropriate to its car.
Yeah.
Imagine if it had a little peep.
Yeah. But that's the first thing most global manufacturers change for India is the horn. Because they realize that it needs to be utilized here quite a bit. But no, they've done so much with these cars. I think especially with the performance. Yeah. The engines are really, really nice, whether it's the diesel or the petrol.
They've always been quite torquey, don't you reckon?
Yeah. Torquey, yeah, from the CRDE days they had torquey engines, but I think this new M-Eagle engine that they have, these are really the best. They're so drivable, but yet you've got that punch and power. And,
in the auto, there's a lag between first and second.
Yeah.
But then
it kicks in.
And then it goes through its gears really.
You have the diesel.
I do, yeah.
And of course, they've got those modes now, zip, zap, and zoom, which also allows you to kind of change the way the ECU is tuned and the way the engine reacts.
Yeah, correct.
So
I think people will forget that this is a proper four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Like just through
the terrain response, yeah.
Just the flicking of the switch and you're in the four-wheel drive mode. And in our terrain, especially in our sand terrains, four-wheel low is a really critical feature.
Even in India, I mean, we have so much desert. We have a lot of the hills, snow, desert.
Yeah,
I mean,
you've
you
got
name
every terrain, yeah.
Yeah, and part I love about it most because I'm a Mumbai driver is that you can just decimate everything else. So it just feels nice and big from behind the wheel, and you don't really have to worry about the potholes that you're going over or the kind of road, and the ride quality is so nice. Normally in an SUV, and earlier ones were a bit bouncy, but this one is kind of nice and settled, so it gives you a good ride even on our crazy roads.
What's it called, that feature? It's got its technology.
The Pentalink
that's
suspension.
The one,
Yeah, the Pentalink suspension. That's my job.
Yeah. Pentalink.
Yeah, the Pentalink suspension. It's really made actually a massive, massive, massive change. Because the earlier SUV, the earlier Scorpio used to kind of buck up a bit. And so...
It's a roll, yeah.
Yeah, and when you at higher speed, you kind of got kicked up a little bit, but this one stays composed. And what's your view on car technology? Touch screens and versus physical buttons and everything going very new age.
Yes, so the trade-off, I think, is what you can fix yourself versus what someone else can fix. So from a usability wise, I love it. From a visual point of view, when you look at the XUV700, you are fully immersed as if you're sitting at your office desk and having a control of your computer and you controlling your computer. So there's that school of thought versus the school of thought where you've got a physical button.
But I think the one piece of technology that I recently saw and I would love to see in cars is a fingerprint or a code door unlock, because I'm always losing keys.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just so amazing.
I also like the simplicity of it. Like I noticed when I was driving the Scorpio the other day at home, you can isolate at night, you can isolate the two speed and the revs, and then you can have a digital reading. I don't like something that's so bright that it distracts you from the road as well.
So you can change the way it's laid out,
Which I think is an important feature. It's dangerous being in a car which is it's giving you too much information and feedback. I still like to be able to drive the vehicle. not be told how to drive the vehicle.
Correct.
My dad, when he first drove the Scorpio, he made an interesting remark, and I'm glad that he made it. He said, it practically drives itself. It's such a, and it's a manual car.
It's an effortless car. It's really effortless to drive, especially when you have these crazy traffic conditions. You know, sometimes, and when you're driving a manual, you said a lot of people would prefer an automatic, but it's not something that makes you feel, oh, I gotta work out on my leg. Or,
yeah.
It's just, it's easy to drive. So before we let you go, we're going to throw some really fun questions at you. Hitting a 6 or hitting the red line?
Hitting a 6.
Fast bowling or fast engine?
Fast engine.
Okay. ICE, internal combustion engine or an EV?
ICE for sure.
Naturally aspirated or a turbo?
Naturally aspirated.
He's a car guy. Manual or auto?
I like manual in the pickup.
You won my heart over already.
Yeah, but I know that, you know, a lot of people, especially, you know, younger people, they go manual what? Don't even know what it is.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's the feeling you get. What's the craziest road trip you've done, and what is a road trip that you're dreaming of doing?
Dreaming of doing would be through Tuscany.
Okay.
Discovering some of the wonderful regions like Montepulciano, and I love my red wine. The craziest trips that I've done have been, you know, through the centre of Australia, you know, where you'll see a car a day.
Yeah.
And you're on the road the whole time.
Wow.
You know, it's so vast, our country, that it's extraordinary. But I think like any road trip, you get an opportunity to actually get off the train. You can only drive for a few hours and you need a cup of coffee. You've always got conversation happening in a car.
Yeah.
That's the thing I value as a father so much about the road trips that we've done as a family.
Yeah.
Through the snow, through New Zealand, you know, through England. We've
Yeah.
done crazy road trips when you think about it.
Amazing. Do you have a favorite driving song?
I like country music, so Luke Combs for me
Nice.
is someone that, from Nashville, is someone that I love.
And last but not least, is there a dream car you want in your garage?
I would love to have that experience with the Batista. I mean, that's kind of about as unique as it gets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having said that, you know, there's nothing like the romantic sound of something big, you know, like a big V12 with its growling sound that just sounds angry and just wants to get out there, which is something I love doing as a cricketer.
Well, that's great, but thank you so much
Yeah,
for being
my
with us,
pleasure.
and thank you for being with us on the show. We've loved having you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing more of you in India.
Great.